something useful for Scotland as well. If we can help to find out about this disease and what problem it's causing for our farmers, then hopefully it can encourage maybe potentially some more money towards investigating OPA, coming up with better diagnostics and better treatment options.
So one great thing with the Tipari, I suppose you can argue in this point now, is as it's clamped here, it's basically showed the symptoms for us.
They can be up to 80, 90 kilos some of the time.
There's no way I'm lifting 90 kilos out like at that.
No, not up like that. It's difficult, but probably more difficult for me.
I would say, yeah, I would give you that. Oh, I definitely think if it came to a fight, I definitely think if we were to have a fight, I could take you. Like, I'm going to say that.
Probably.
Like,
I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by Farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
This week we are joined by Jenna Montgomery of Avondale Vets. They do farm vetting and they do the small animal stuff that we're not into.
I support all people who keep all pets, including mice.
Yes, including mice. Yeah, Iona upset people last week referring to mice people as being strange. I totally disagree with. No, I do agree with her. Anyway, moving quickly away from that before we lose half our viewers.
Yes.
Because every farmer keeps a few mice.
True.
Which, going back to the flexi bins,
God,
keep the mice out of them. Good, link that back, eh? How much feeding your dad loses to those pesky mice, but where would he be without them? Let's talk about this week's podcast. In fact, first, let's get the sponsor shout out.
Crystalyx and Animax. Sorry, am I getting in my own head?
Yeah. Try again, it's okay. We're just keeping it rolling, that's fine.
No, don't. Animax.
How would you ever, see if we ever did a live show, how would you ever manage to cope?
I would be fine.
What, in front of a couple hundred people?
As long as I'm sitting down.
No, you need to stand up.
No, my legs would go. Shaky legs. Right, come on. Crystalyx and Tracesure by Animax.
Yeah, thanks to both of them for making this happen. As we said last week, it literally is thanks to them that these podcasts go out every week, every Tuesday. There's maybe been the odd one that's ran over, but we've certainly put one out every week, which has been incredible for us, for the consistency. And we are busy bolusing just now. Usually I wouldn't bolus until October, but we've got a hernia operation coming up, so we're doing the bolusing earlier this year. Which might not be a bad thing either, because I suppose it gives the bolus more time to kick in and have effect before that sort of pre-tup and flush.
Yep.
Plus, I think we're going to tup a few earlier this year.
Are you?
As well, yeah. But more on that later. We'll talk about that later. Plans for the future.
What, is that just to bring lamb in a wee bit, just spread out a wee bit?
Yeah, just lamb some a bit earlier and put them in a shed.
Right, okay.
And just try something different. I'm always trying different things. We won't have a Friday podcast. Again, we're struggling with the Friday podcast just with time and editing and everything else that's involved. Everything okay with you in your life?
Yeah. Yep, everything's good.
Everything's kind of okay with me, but in this week's podcast, we are scanning for OPA with Jenna. She's part of a group of vets that are getting trained up to scan for OPA. OPA is Ovine Pulmonary Anemia. Does that sound? I just guessed a lot. The A. What do you think the A is? Abscess? No. Have a guess for the A. Ovine. It's definitely ovine pulmonary.
What is pulmonary?
That's
like
the lungs, I think. You can't think of a single A.
Yeah, no.
Adenocarcinoma.
That's what that was my next guess. Adenocarcinoma. Of course. Ovine pulmonary adenocarcinoma.
Is that all one word, the A? Adenocarcinoma.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, OPA in sheep, rife in sheep at the moment. I say rife, isn't it? There's a lot of it about. Seems to be a lot of it in blackies. But as Jenna rightly says, that could just be that blackies are doing the most work round about it. So it's
highlighting the number.
Yeah, well, there's more positive cases in blackies, but that's because more blackie people are scanning, so they're being proactive on it. Okay. So good on that. But it does seem to be that for whatever reason there seems to be a bit more of it in blackies. But by virtue, and this is one of the most fascinating things of the whole thing that I found out, is that it transfers from the mother through the colostrum. So by virtue of it being in the blackies, it has to be in the Scotch mules.
God, right, okay,
Like,
interesting.
yeah, you know, if it's in a lot of blackies, it's going to mean a lot of Scotch mules. So you're going to see a bit of that in this podcast. This is a rough and ready podcast. It's on site. So if you're listening to the audio, it's really one for visual. But it's at the farm with me. Jenna's there, and so is Ebenezer, who's over from Nigeria. He's hopefully going to become a vet here as well. Great guy. He's over sort of learning a bit about the scanning as well with Jenna. So it's the three of us, and Tina's there as well in the background helping push up and stuff. And hopefully it all kind of makes sense. There might be a lot of questions off the back of this. But
I think it's very good for you doing this publicly, because I do feel like with OPA, there's some sort of stigma attached to it. I don't know, I feel like it's not like a very open thing to talk. Or is that with all diseases in stock? I just feel like it's not a very spoken about.
yeah, it's probably
Thing.
all diseases, but
Because I just feel like it's not the fault on the farmer.
yeah,
As long as
no.
you're doing something about
If you're
it.
doing something about it, it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, if you're scanning, see me showing this is detrimental to me,
Why?
because then there's going to be a knock-on effect of that. Some people might say, "Oh, I don't want to buy your store lambs,"
Okay.
but as Jenna points out, like there's no issue with store lambs because you wouldn't scan a sheep for OPA until they're 18 months old, and none of my lambs are going to see 12 months.
Right, of course.
So there's actually no issue.
Yep.
In that, and it's not that big a deal in my flock because I'm a commercial flock. So any sheep that's got it, we can cull it out. And the difficult thing is, if you're scanning ewes and they've got OPA and you're keeping ewe lambs off of those ewes,
It's just
like the cycle
staying in
going
your-
forever.
Staying in your flock, yeah.
Yeah, because it's coming from the mum through the colostrum
Yep.
and through her licking the lamb and
And
all that.
what effect does it have on the sheep? Like what is detrimental?
Oh, so basically they drown. It's like a cancer in the lungs. They basically eventually drown to death. It's a brutal kind of thing. It's not breed specific.
Yep.
It'll be in every breed now. Or most breeds, certainly. I think there's a bit of it in the Beltex as well, but don't quote me on that. That's just what I've been told. That's not from official sources. And another great one I get told, I get all the time, and it's always from someone that keeps Cheviets, is the Cheviets are genetically not as susceptible to it. Because I've asked the vet about that, and there's no evidence
Right, okay.
of that at all. But there's three times I've been told that, and every time the person has Cheviets.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So, but I asked my vet because I thought I'm going to speak about that because it becomes this. There's a very much us and them thing sometimes with the Cheviets and the Blackie guys
Right.
because it's a big rivalry. The two most popular hill breeds in Scotland, in the UK.
Is there rivalry? But
Maybe
rivalry
Swales, I
for
don't know.
what?
Oh, sure, Cheviet guys think the Cheviets are the best, and Blackies think the Blackies are the best.
Right.
So it's just rivalry.
just
like
like
there's
a wee-
rivalry probably between Texels and Suffolks.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Or Charlies and Texels.
People are
or-
going to back their breed.
Yeah, folk just love their breed and think
Back
it's the
your
best.
breed.
Back your breed. So there's a bit of rivalry there. And actually, they're both great. Like we had your dad on. Cheviot doesn't do as well in the snowy conditions and the harder conditions. She won't rake as much as a Blackie.
Yep.
And we've discussed that before with the Shants. They flip to Cheviets
Yep, that's right.
because the Blackie rakes too much.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
gets herself stranded on bits. So the Cheviot that doesn't rake as much is actually a better suited sheep. There's pros and cons of both breeds. So look,
Everybody calm down.
everybody
Relax.
calm down.
Right?
Calm down. Let me speak, okay? This is about me. It's not about you. God's sake. I knew this would happen. Like, we shouldn't be mentioning... Let's just, from moving forward, let's not mention Cheviets and Blackies in the same podcast,
let's
please,
not
because
do
it just
it.
upsets
No,
too
I
many
know.
people. Both fantastic breeds, can I just say. Lizzie and I have 330 or 40 Cheviets, North Country Cheviets, right? I really like Cheviets. If anything, I would say I'm biased towards the Cheviets, but I try and be very fair
Yep.
on both sides, okay? Because we're a breed neutral podcast.
We are, but the Blackies are the best.
Well, exactly. Like, we've got a good because you think the Blackies are the best, but that's an example of someone that, like, what other breeds have you worked with?
None.
None. So how can you say Blackies
I
are
know,
the
it
best?
was just a wee joke.
No, it was a good joke, right? But, so you've wound me up now, like I've turned
I
into a
know!
Cheviot guy.
God's sake!
I've become what I despise. I'm one of those folk that just, like, I'm up my high horse about my breed. No, I'm joking.
Your
I'm
jumper's
joking.
off.
I'm like, absolutely outrageous. How dare you? How dare you say they're the best? Mine are the best. So yeah.
Right, come on, let's get into this
Yeah,
podcast.
get to the bloody point. I just
Right.
wanted to caveat a few things because it's quite an intense podcast, I suppose. And great to everyone that's scanning. So you were saying about how it puts off to me. I don't sell breeding sheep.
Yep.
so it won't really be an issue.
Okay.
But there is still that thing, like, if I was wanting to buy sheep, and again, coming back to blackies or whatever, breeds that you know have a bit of OPA,
Yep.
I would want to buy sheep where they announce when they come in the ring that the flock's OPA scanned.
Okay.
But the problem you have, if you're buying ewe lambs or gimmers even, because gimmers will be right on that borderline of 18 months. You know, they'll be 18 months, say, in October, November. But if you're selling September, they're not old enough to scan. If you are buying them, even if they say they're from an OPA scan flock, now if they're OPA scan, because OPA scan flock doesn't really mean anything.
Because you're not saying, they still might have it.
Aye.
They've been scanned, yeah.
Yeah, the ewes have been scanned, but they're not saying as OPA scan flock, 50% had it.
Yeah.
OPA scan flock, 0.2% had it. You know, the actual number that had it.
That's what matters. It's not the scanning, yeah, of course.
But doing the scan is good. It shows you if they're coming from a proactive flock that's doing something about it. Great. But if you're buying those ewe lambs, if they've OPA scanned and there's positive cases and you're buying those ewe lambs, so they're almost shooting themselves in the foot by OPA scan because they're confirming they have OPA.
Yeah.
And then they're selling ewe lambs or gimmers.
They've not been tested.
Well, if the mothers have OPA,
They've got it.
the lambs have a very high chance of an OPA. So they're this is why it's such a, like you're saying about stigma, this is the problem.
Okay, I get it.
It's like you try and do the right bloody thing.
Yep, I get it.
But you shoot yourself in the foot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if you just don't, it's like
Just do nothing.
and then I didn't know. Like we've never had any problems at home.
Yeah.
Can't be us. We've never had any bother with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's such a bloody tricky
It
subject.
is.
You try and do
It's
the right
almost
thing.
like they need to bring in a law. It's like that's the only thing that works is when it's just a blanket rule. Everybody has to do it.
Yeah, but then it's such an expensive thing. Well, is it? It's probably not even that expensive.
How expensive is it?
£80 an hour.
And
I think Jenna said she's on the cheaper side because she's really trying to learn and get better and move forward. So I think Jenna said she's £80 an hour. She says in the podcast, I think. I don't know. Let me know in the comment. Like, this is one to let us know where you stand on it, because the more I think about it and more we talk about it out loud, it's such an awkward bloody thing. But I'm hoping that people don't get so upset because I'm throwing myself under the bus here and showing you that I have
know.
it. So let's
Aye,
go
it's good
into
on
the
you.
podcast.
So we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm here with Jenna Montgomery from Avondale Vets. We're going to try and do a little kind of podcast as she OPA scans the ewes. So there will be a whole sheep game YouTube video for this as well. But this is more Fed by Farmers podcast stuff. Jenna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, yes. This will be something a bit different, I think, for people who watch and listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
We've got some ambient background noise. We've a full team here. We've the Tapari banging, the wind blowing. But tell us a bit about yourself.
So
How long have you been a vet? How
I've
did
been a
you get into
vet
it?
for 6 years. I work in farm practice only. Sheep are my favourite thing about my job. But
Same.
yes. I went to Glasgow Vet School, and you need to do lots of experience with vets while you're at uni. And a lot of my experience was at Avondale. And I was just lucky when I was qualifying, somebody was leaving.
They had a spot.
I've been there ever since. I love it. We've got nice farmers, it's a nice area, enough sheep. So
Lots of sheep.
yeah, it's good.
Avondale's like Straven way.
Straven, yes.
Yeah. Glasgow, like vet school, is that a good vet school?
It's a good vet school, yeah.
Is it? I've got a mate that went to Cambridge vet school. Is it better?
Well,
Is it
six years at Cambridge.
Is it snobbier? Is it?
Well,
Is it most like? Because he fights hard not to be a snob, but his accent lets him down.
well, there we go.
His pronunciation lets him down. He pronounces words very well. But of course, I'm talking about Kaz there. Shout out to Kaz, he'll be listening. Before we do a bit more about you, should maybe do actually what the hell we're bloody doing here?
Yes.
Like, what are you doing just now?
So we are OPA scanning. We are doing a project at the moment with Mordun. What we're trying to do, there's two reasons really. The first reason is we're trying to train up a group of vets, training with Phil Scott, who's just the best OPA scanning vet that there is. We want to train, I think there's 13, 14 of us in the project based all over Scotland, so no matter where you are, no matter where your flock is, there'll be somebody scanning nearby. We've all had training to prove that we can find OPA, and we're following up any potential positives with postmortems to be sure that what we're actually seeing is what we say we're seeing. And there's budgets for us to buy sheep from farmers to check that we're seeing what we're seeing. We're also checking.
Yeah, so we've for hang on, let us forward a wee bit. So we've for a couple of possibles today that Phil Scott's going to check over. And we'll make a decision on, and it might be a case of that if we need to cull them and post-mortem them, then Morden would buy them off
Buy
me.
them from you. We'll pay for the post-mortem testing. We'll pay for the Grace Hill collection of them as well at the end. So it's definitely worth it for anyone who thinks they might have a problem. We're trying to recruit as many farms as possible. And that's the other purpose of the project. We don't really know how much of a problem OPA is in Scotland. So we want an idea of, in the Scottish flock as a whole, how many sheep have OPA? How much is that costing our farmers? So
Yeah.
we don't really know that at the moment, hopefully.
I mean, a big thing with me, as I said to you, and obviously how we ended up doing this, is I was pretty sure we have some in it, like I've seen it in some of the ewes, but I mean, the last year or more, we have been pretty hard. Like if a sheep falls back, or you know, she's lean for no reason, then we'll cull her out the flock. Just thinking it's either OPA or it's something else.
Something else that you don't want.
Something potentially worse.
Yeah. So
How
hopefully,
is Joni's quite infectious? It's passed from to the lamb, is it not? It's not passed sheep to sheep, is it?
Joni's goes to the lamb, and then you probably, well, whether you really get many symptoms in sheep, we're starting to think yes, you probably do get more symptoms than what we thought. But yeah, they don't develop symptoms until they're older.
Yeah, and they start pining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's like you saw a sheep. We marked a sheep earlier when we were scanning where she was clear of the lungs, but I was just like, we don't like her. She's lean. Like I'd rather use her like this. You know, they've been weaned early, big fat, fit yow. Hopefully good lungs and less to worry about.
Definitely.
Reduce the risk of fly strike and livestock irritation at grass with Crystalyx garlics. Flies and midges are a constant pest to livestock throughout the summer and are responsible for diseases such as summer mastitis, pink eye, blue tongue and Schmallenberg. No repellent is 100% effective in the fight against airborne biting insects. However, Crystalyx garlics can play an important part in reducing the number of flies that land on livestock. Containing concentrated garlic extract, 5 times more potent than pure dried garlic, Crystalyx garlics offers a natural defense to biting insects, with the high sulfur compounds in garlic acting as a natural insect repellent. With a full complement of vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx garlics balances the known deficiencies in forage while stimulating the rumen for enhanced animal performance. Make the switch this summer to research-proven Crystalyx garlics.
So how did you decide to get into this OPA side of things? Just because you love sheep?
I love sheep, yeah.
And it's another string to your bow?
It's a new skill to be able to learn, and learning from Phil Scott is a great opportunity that it doesn't run very many courses, and so I thought this is good, and it's something useful for Scotland as well. If we can help to find out about this disease and what problem it's causing for our farmers, then hopefully it can encourage maybe potentially some more money towards investigating OPA, coming up with better diagnostics and better treatment options. So yeah.
Is there good money in it for the vets?
We're not charging ourselves as very expensive. We're doing this really for the project rather than for ourselves.
Yeah.
So our hourly rate, for us anyway, is probably less than what it should be, but it's much for interest for us rather than for...
Yeah, for just doing the right thing.
Else,
Sometimes in life it's nice to do the right thing. Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't encourage people to do it too often, but you know, sometimes doing the right thing can be quite nice.
Definitely.
So it's not like the sheep pregnancy scanning where it's big bucks every hour.
No, I think it can be like that, depending on what vet you get doing it. Some are very experienced and very fast and can get through it very quickly. If they're charging a higher hourly rate, then it's probably worth it.
Yeah. Oh,
ours
absolutely.
is reasonable while we just get started up learning, and once we're...
Well, that was like me. So when I started pregnancy scanning, like I didn't charge, like any decent sized job, I didn't charge them for the first 2 or 3 years, because it was more important for me to try and keep that job again and learn.
Exactly. Well, at the moment we're charging, our hourly rate is very good, and we're doing the first hour free as well for our farmers, just to try and encourage people
to actually do this.
Yeah. Because there's a wee bit of a problem with people not wanting to do it because they think, if I admit I'm scanning it, it's an admission that I've got a problem, but really it should be people thinking I'm proving that I'm doing something about a disease that's probably in my flock anyway, and probably in the majority of flocks. So I mean, it's a good thing to be doing.
Oh, 100%. I mean, one thing about this is it could be bloody hard work. Like it's hard work doing it the way we're doing it just now, but that's with, for anyone who's just listening, we're clamping the sheep in the Tapari, just sort of half out the front, so that's letting Jenna get to either side of the lungs, and it's actually working really well. You've got a bit of a walk round the front. But like the video you showed me, it was the guys doing the blackies where they had to hold everyone by hand and fight with them a bit. But the good thing with blackies, they've got handles.
Exactly.
And they're smaller than these mules. Like if we had to manhandle every one of these mules,
It'd be exhausting.
yeah. A combi clamp would be good for this job as well.
I like it. A combi clamp with a wee kind of extension out the front so the sheep can be caught a little further forward than normal. That's worked really well. But we can do it in any setup. It's a bit tiring if you have to catch each one individually.
You've got a great attitude, I like that. Any setup,
setup.
I'm sure there's some setups can take. It's like me saying I can share in any setup, but I don't want
You
to.
might want to cry, but you can.
But surely once you scan for a bit, if we get on top of it, then it disappears, does it?
We hope so.
Yeah.
The benefit
How
of
did it
scanning-
end up here? What happened?
How did it end up here?
Yeah. Like how did it, like these things can't just begin, do they? Like did it come from the continent or?
I don't know.
Who's
where
to blame?
OPA would have come. Who's to blame? Sheep farmers aren't scanning.
I know, but like who? How did it start?
How did it
Like,
start? I don't know how it
you know how for
started.
years, or has it just always been there? No, it's not always been there.
Potentially it has been here, but we didn't have the ability to scan and there's not really great diagnostics, so we were just losing sheep and we didn't really know why. There's a lot more awareness about it now, which is great, so at least we're able to pick it up. But where it came from to begin with, I don't really know.
I always think these things must come somewhere, but
I know,
then even
no,
the
you're
place
right.
they've came from, where did it start there?
Yeah.
It gets the question of like, how are we here?
I think it's
See if you want to get really deep about it, like how the hell are we here on
how
this
are
planet
any of us
Earth?
here? Don't think about it
How
too
did
long.
it all begin? Like if
No.
everything has to have a beginning,
Where was it?
what's our beginning? Tina, what about that?
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, it's kind of like that one,
It
eh?
is like that.
Although they do say it was the
Okay, or the
chicken that
sheep.
came first.
Right. Why?
It's some evolution thing,
Came
like
from dinosaurs, right?
yeah. So like it wasn't quite a chicken, but it was some sort of ugly type bird thing that then had some sort of crystallized fetus thing, and that argue.
I just thought Noah put 2 chickens on the ark. That's how 2 chickens.
Well, it depends what book you're into. Aye. Yeah, potentially it is the Noah story. Back onto sheep and farming. Do you have some sheep of your own?
No, I don't have any sheep of my own. I would love to one day, hopefully. But no sheep at the moment.
So what do you just like? Were you from a farm?
No,
Right? Just from the town?
from the town, Newton Mearns.
Ah, Newton Mearns as well. Aye, that explains like the good education in Glasgow Uni. Bet you left with no debt as well, did you?
No debt.
No debt, eh?
Lived at home.
From the Mearns.
Perfect.
Aye. For anyone that doesn't know, Newton Mearns is a very affluent area of. You'd barely even call it Glasgow because it's so posh. It's the Ayrshire side of Glasgow though.
Yes,
It's the Ayrshire side. It's a fantastic location.
exactly.
What school did you go to?
Mearns Castle.
Mearns Castle. But that's a public school, and that's not
Yes,
private.
it is, no.
Because Bella Houston's the private one there, is it? No, Hutchie Grammar.
Hutchie.
Hutchie.
Hutchie's private, yeah.
Hutchie's private, yeah. We've dealt with things. I used to work in the police in Glasgow, and we'd cover Newton Mearns. So this is a bit of a weird tangent, but Newton Mearns comes under a subdivision called Golf GC, Golf Charlie, but we all called it Golf Caribbean because it's like the folk that worked there. Yeah, the folk that worked there didn't do any work because it's so posh. It's the kind of place if you upset somebody, they wrote a letter.
They wrote a letter.
Aye, they'd write a
That
letter
was
and a letter, for some reason, a letter is such a like a phone call was
Only
like,
worded letter.
yeah, a phone call's nothing, but a letter's this big thing in the police. It's like, oh my God, these folk wrote a letter, you're getting your ass kicked. So no, lovely part. The parents still there?
Still there.
Are you still there?
No, I'm not. I'm in Straven now,
you're-
a bit
yeah, okay,
closer to work.
Straven's alright as well, eh?
Yeah, it's nice.
There's some, they're constantly building new houses there.
Yes, they are. Sorry, Ebenezer.
And when you went to Glasgow Uni, was it to be a farm vet? Like, I take it before you went to be a vet, you went and worked on a farm for a lambing
I
or something?
lambed, I did dairy farming. So yeah, I didn't know for sure it would be 100% farm animals, but then when I got to the stage of uni that you were out with vets,
Yeah.
it was farm animals that I liked. Lambing, I always loved lambing, so I knew I was going to be working with sheep, but whether it would be 100% farm animals or
Okay.
a bit of a mixture, I didn't know.
And what do you
until
like
I
so
got-
much about lambing?
About lambing? How could you not love a lamb?
Yeah.
fun.
But then you could say something about pups and...
Of course, yeah, you could.
But I suppose the amount you get with lambing, it's just constant and...
I just think being a farm vet is great. You get good relationships with your farmers. You can see the differences, that the wee changes you make on the farm. Yeah, you can improve things, and it's nice.
Our farmers are better... look at all the fluid
I
coming
know.
out here. Oh,
What's this?
look at this here.
Uh-oh.
There's the thing. Oh, so lots of fluid coming out her as she's been clamped.
Yes.
Straight away.
Potential.
In fact, I would say she'll be getting culled no matter what you tell me here.
I think so.
But if you want to hold that
poor
just
girl.
now, Tina. So, anyone just listening to the audio, there's a sheep come in here being clamped by Tafari. Another good, I mean, there's loads running out her just now.
Forward a little bit, please. Sorry, Tina.
So, one great thing with the Tafari, I suppose you can argue in this point now, is as it's clamped here, it's basically showed the symptoms for us. Hopefully. I say hopefully it's not, but I would.
So see straight away those bright lines.
Yep.
Look at that.
Wow.
So we've got the white line, it's not continuous. We're dropping down here.
Yep.
This is an area of consolidation, so an area of tumour in her lung.
Okay.
And the bright white lines, you get these bouncing off where the fluid is in between the cells in the airways.
Okay.
So, yes, that's an OPA.
There we go. We got
Right.
one.
We've
Right.
got one.
So,
I'll have a wee look at her other side. Just
aye,
because-
absolutely. I'm just going to put a big line down her. And pull her out to the side
That's
here.
an advanced case. I mean, obviously, but that's a big lesion. So what we're trying
Well, look
to
at the amount
pick
of
up-
fluid. She's at
Exactly.
death's door.
Poor
so
girl.
she'll be.
We want to be able with scanning to pick it up before they get to this stage, so they can go, because they're very infectious at this point, and well, they're infectious the entire time, but if we can pick them up before this stage, it's very good.
Yeah, so you see the fluid just running out there all the time.
The bright line at the top is not continuous, there's little lesions in there as well, so nothing as serious as on the other side. This is an OPA sheep.
Yep. Okay, right.
All
I'll
right.
just get a hold of her and we'll pop her out. I want to pop her out here and then keep her in here. Right, just let her go, Tina. Here we go. Oh. Disaster,
Chaos.
it's all gone wrong. Right.
The thing then would be if you
Oh.
knew who her lambs were, it's fine because their commercials are going away anyway, but if you were going to keep her lambs potentially for breeding,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
probably shouldn't.
Yeah, but lamb's going for kill. It won't
It's fine.
slaughter,
No, it doesn't matter at all.
So that was a bit of excitement for both for the vlog and for the podcast. There we got one. Unfortunately, but also I think it's a good thing.
It's a
good
good
to
thing.
show that how good to see the symptoms. Like even better that you're not just. I mean, like as I said to you before, like I'm pretty certain that's OPA before you even.
Oh yeah, at that
Just the
stage,
sheer volume of
there's
water
no
coming
doubt
out the
about
lungs.
it. But I think only about 70% of advanced cases actually have a lot of the fluid coming out. So is scanning is still worth it?
Oh yeah, I'm not arguing that. Yeah, and you want to catch it before they start spreading all
course,
that
yeah,
fluid
yeah.
about
Definitely.
and being contagious. Yeah, so. And the one good thing I would say is we're well over halfway, and that's the first one that
Yeah.
we've definitely seen. There's a couple of maybes that will get sent to Phil,
Couple of
but
potential early cases, but we'll just check for
is that
sure.
okay there?
You've been doing the right thing with culling out suspicious sheep though, so hopefully
Yeah, I've probably
your
taken some of the
numbers
fun of it away
are
because
low
we've
anyway,
already
yeah.
killed about 30 out between this lot and just other lambing problems. We've killed about 30, so there's a good chance we've got rid of some of the
Yeah.
worst ones. Because then again, see if she's lean or doesn't look right, I'm just cull.
go.
Aye, just cull. They should all be like this, like well fleshed. Because we wean early. We wean early, give
Yep.
the ewes a lot of rest. And the next
Is
one
there
coming,
another?
Slevern.
Fluid coming in.
Fluid, there we
Oh
go.
dear.
God, it's all kicking off now. They're all hiding at the back.
But then you
Well, that's
probably
right.
can find them at the back.
Yeah, probably
you
would.
do, you're right.
You probably would.
Okay, that one's fine.
So is that one that Modern would likely buy off me?
Yes. We want an advanced case. That would class as an advanced case.
They want
so
an advanced case?
Yes,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
can buy that from you if you want.
Oh, definitely.
Put it to sleep and then send.
I mean, she's only worth about 300 quid at the market, so 250. 250 would be
We
fine.
can have her.
No, I'm more than happy for them to use it as a. What do they do with it then if they know it's a definite?
Then they're just confirming
Okay,
for sure
yeah, yeah.
that it is OPA. In her case, with all that fluid, it's not really going to be anything else. But there can
Yeah.
be ones without fluid. If we
Yeah,
just think
no.
it looks like OPA, they want to be confirming that we are correct with what we're saying. That we're seeing.
No, I think it is good. It's like you said, it's like ideally right. You don't have any examples, but part of the reason when we spoke at Scotch Sheep about this, and I said to you about coming out, was I was fairly certain there was. Like I'd seen, like we'd had one died last year with fluid out the nose like that, and that was my first thought was OPA.
OPA, yep.
And she's a sheep that was bought in, but I mean she'll have been in the flock for 4 years. That sheep.
Yeah.
One that we bought in is a ewe lamb. So really buying in sheep is the thing I need to get away from.
It's tricky. Buying in sheep, I mean, in an ideal world, they'd have a long quarantine. You'd scan them before they joined the flock, but they might have no lesions at that point.
Well, and you
just
said
don't
as well,
know.
if you're buying them as ewe lambs, you don't want to scan them as
You
ewe
don't
lambs,
want to
do you?
scam
'Cause-
them. No, we don't want to scam them when they're really less than 2 years of age. They're just more prone to pneumonias, and you can have false positives. You're picking up changes on the scan that look like OPA, but because of the age, it's more likely just a pneumonia. So we really just want to look at older sheep and sheep that haven't been housed in the past.
I haven't been
You know,
housed recently.
nothing that's been housed or nothing that's just come out of the housing in the past 2 months.
Okay, yeah.
So weaning
These
time's
have none.
ideal really if they've been outside for.
Well, none of these have been in the
However
house.
long.
We lambed everything outside this year.
Good,
So
well that's perfect. Yeah, we know that we're not going to have.
at most, there was a couple of them in here overnight, but this is hardly like an enclosed
No.
shed. The amount of wind that's blowing through here
Yeah,
today.
we'll be fine.
And back to your career as such, are you just a normal vet? Do you work towards being a partner? Is that what vets do?
Well, you used to. It's
Is
changed a
Avondale
little bit
American
now.
owned?
Yes. Okay,
And
well,
they're
it's just-
desperate for farm vets, do they not?
Yes,
Is it not
there
quite
is a
good?
shortage
Like, I don't
of
think you're
farm
ever going to
vets.
struggle for a job if you're a.
If you're a farm vet, no, I would hope not.
But there must be a boss vet.
It's a boss vet.
Who's
yeah.
your boss? The boss vet,
Yeah, I have a boss vet.
the final
It's
boss.
called Colin. It's very good.
Oh, you have to say that. You don't, like, I always say to people to be honest in the podcast, but when you're talking about
He's
your boss,
very
just,
good.
just
No,
say
he
the
is.
same lie you always say. They're fantastic. Really good to you and all that.
He is good. Ebenezer here can confirm. Colin's very good.
Is he good, Ebenezer? Nice.
He also has to say that.
Ah, he has to say it as well. I know he's looking for a job here someday.
No, not at all. He's very
But
good.
you're a mixed practice.
We're a mixed practice, but our vets aren't mixed. So we have
Oh,
an
okay,
equine
okay.
department, we have a small animal department, and we have a farm department, but the vets only do one thing. We don't have mixed vets.
And is it like in society, like is the equine guys a bit snobbier than the
No,
farm vet
our
guys?
equine vets are lovely.
Are they?
We've got a lovely bunch of vets. We really do.
And what about, look at me, trying to cause trouble here.
Yes,
And what,
there was some controversy.
and what about the small animal vet? We'll cut this as a wee short. As soon as you say, oh, the small animal, no. What about the small animal vets?
They're good too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Different, hey, it's a tough job that, like.
Of course it is, yeah.
Like for me, if I'm being critical, it's the type of people you have to deal with. You know,
It
because it's
can
so
be.
emotional. Like farmers,
course, yeah.
I say we're used to it. Like we look after our stock, but we're used to the problems. Whereas,
Farmers are great and have a
You know, if
good
it's
knowledge of the medical problems that can go
Yeah.
on in animals anyway.
yeah, you've
Sometimes-
usually got an idea of what you're
Yeah,
going to tell them.
Exactly.
But like with these people though, it's like it's their best pal. It's their, you know,
Uh-huh.
with small animal
It's
vets, it's their
different, it
best
is.
pal. It's the
There's an emotional level
Oh,
in
serious,
small
like-
animal vetting that potentially there's not always in farm practice.
so that's for me would be quite tough being a small animal vet. Is having to deal with
yeah,
that.
definitely it can be tough. It's very difficult.
I think this is OPA here. She is very lean. Right, raspy. Might be a pneumonia
there.
case.
Oh,
Wait
there
till
we go
see.
again.
So here we go. Right.
Fluid.
Tell us your thoughts as you're looking there.
Straight away. See?
Messy, yeah.
Messy. Look at the size of that there.
Wow.
That's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be a good section of her longest tumour.
There we
And
go.
then back we come a little bit more. We've got other wee ones starting here
Wow.
and here. And all these lines, remember, the bright white lines
Yep.
that we talked about earlier. So yeah, look how much is tumour rather than nice, just grey, healthy, normal
Yep, look at
tissue.
that. Wait, I'll just get a wee shot of that there as
Yeah.
you're talking.
Your phone's
So
got
this is all
that,
this big tumour here. Looking through, is it? Yeah, somewhere there.
Yeah. You want to look on our other side, just in case?
So,
Although we know for sure.
pull her out again.
But you can hear her breathing, she's struggling
Yeah,
already,
that's what
isn't
Matilda
she?
was saying. She called it for the back. She said this one's.
Yeah, see again, the same thing.
Aye,
All
lean
right,
as
we
well.
won't stress her out
But you just
too
watch,
much
don't
then
let-
if she's
don't-
going to
just
struggle.
watch this time. You need to catch the next one. I'll get the sheep.
I'll learn from a mistake before.
It's okay. I'll get the sheep. Come on, lass. Round the corner. In you go. So we go to, and you're right. It probably is going to be the ones at the back.
Yeah, the ones that
She's a big girl.
can't keep up. It's probably not going to be that big chunky one.
No, this one more likely to be okay, but
You never know.
you never know. That's why you're here. There we go.
You're fine.
So right, we're at 2 so far. Out of however many we've done here. I'm not so sure how many is here. 250-ish, I think.
Swap to
Did you
ourselves.
have, you were scanning yesterday, did you have any positive cases yesterday?
No, yesterday was just one that we were checking up on a farm where we've already had,
Oh, a
we've
follow-up.
already done a scanning.
And
yeah,
what was the result? You think it's okay?
I think it's okay. Yeah. which is good news.
But I mean, really, from a sensible point of view, you know, moving forward, like I'm quite fortunate because a lot of our ground is separated. Like these sheep all run together. This 250 group here. So you know, the sensible thing would be just to getting a bit of glare now.
Yeah.
The sensible thing would be just to keep these as a group and kill them out as they go, because there is going to be some spread.
There will be spread. Yeah. There will be. I mean, the ideal thing to do would be regular scanning, but I appreciate it's a big job.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
Well, I think the fortunate thing with me, because I'm not trying to breed, she all good?
She's good, yeah, she can go.
Because I'm not trying to breed, you know, they're not fancy pedigrees. I'm not like this one's the mother of this and the mother of that. Like some of the blackie guys maybe have some top line breeding.
Exactly.
Whereas any of these sheep can go because they're commercial sheep. Like there's not years, you know, generations of good breeding in them, which gives me the luxury, you know,
of being able to cull when you need to.
Yes, aye. There's not a single sheep in here you can say I need to cull that. I'll be like, oh God, can I cull her? She's that's the mother of.
Don't have any wee pets.
£40,000 or anything like that. It's... What's the cost of this scanner you're using here?
Of this scanner? Oh, this is thousands and thousands. This is expensive.
Well, they're all quite expensive, but you know, like a pregnancy scanner would be 12 or 13,000.
It's something like that, maybe even more. You know. We're fortunate that the More Done project has got some nice scanners for us that we're sharing amongst the vets. So
is this a shared one?
Yes, it's a shared, but there's 4 I think that are being shared amongst the vets doing the project. Some of the vets are lucky that they have their own ones. The others were able to share the scanners, so if we know we've got scanning coming up, we can book in and borrow the scanner for it. So, and hopefully it'll become big enough and each practice will have enough work that it makes sense for everybody to buy their own scanner.
Well, hopefully not.
Well, no, we want to get rid of it. You're right.
If we hit the flocks now and get rid of it, then actually, what's the point in buying a scanner? Because long term, we're not going to need it.
Definitely, best case.
You know, hopefully be a thing. I mean, part of me doing this and doing it in video, you know, one, I'm never frightened to show things going wrong and the realities of farming. That's a big part of the sheep game. But the other thing as well, if it can encourage other people who maybe see the symptoms like I've just shown there, like to get you guys in, it helps us all.
Definitely.
Like, you know, it helps that person, but it also helps us all because it stops the spread. Another thing that's really fortunate here is I don't neighbour any sheep.
So you're not nervous about spreading or
no,
things
like
spreading
I'd be worried,
your way?
You know, I mean, I don't know how infectious is OPA?
It is infectious. It's
is it
very
travelling
infectious.
in the air?
Yes, I think the sheep would need to be fairly close to be spreading things.
But it could go neighbour to neighbour through a fence
neighbour
quite
through
easy.
A fence, it could do, yes.
So I'm fortunate here, as I say, we don't have any neighbouring sheep. Dairy country, one of the perks of dairy country.
It's mainly cows.
It's mainly cows, aye. There'll be some bits winter sheep or whatever, but...
Well, OPA stands for Ovine Pulmonary Adenocarcinoma, so ovine, just for sheep. Okay. It used to be known as Yagzikti disease, so you maybe hear some older vets or other people...
Why have we stopped calling it that?
Who knows? I think the name changes and just causes confusion.
Well, it was like coronavirus. The guys that own Corona Lager got raging, so you had to call it COVID.
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
that's true.
It's like, stop calling it Corona, nobody's buying a lager. So maybe that's the same, maybe there's a Yagzikti gin.
It's Yagzikti sheep retrovirus is the virus that causes it, so I guess that the names probably came from that. And
so it caused it, but it's not the actual... So
it's not the name of it, yeah. Or it was, but no more.
It's like a stab wound causes gangrene, but they don't call it a stab wound. They don't call it some mad stab infection. They call it gangrene.
They call it
gangrene. It's got its own name. Yeah.
There we go.
Some weird analogy like that.
Just exactly like that. Yeah, that's great.
And have you ever worked abroad?
Have I worked abroad?
Yeah.
No, when I was a student, I was very lucky. I got to go abroad to various places to work with vets, but as a vet myself, I haven't. I fancy New Zealand. I think everyone that's interested in sheep probably fancies a wee bit of time in New Zealand.
And what do you fancy about New Zealand?
There's lots of sheep.
Right.
That's my favourite part of my job. I don't know if maybe it's a bit, I don't know, the sheep are maybe just a bit more left to it in New Zealand.
Oh, there's a lot more of that, I think. Yeah. A lot more, bigger blocks, I think. No subsidy, so the small farm can't succeed. It's like, you know, folk talk about farm subsidy. Like, one of the great things about farm subsidy is it lets the small farms succeed. Mm-hmm. So we're fortunate in this country, we still have a lot of small farms, small family farms.
Yes, we're lucky that people can.
New Zealand don't have a lot of that.
No, it's much bigger scale, I think. I don't know if there's so much individual 6 sheep
And
medicine out there.
resistance to worms.
Breeding for resistance, I think, so yeah.
But then that's probably another factor of no subsidy, having high stocking densities.
This one here could be an early one.
Okay.
Sorry, interrupt.
No.
Just see, similar to that last one, but it's just very small.
Yep.
Little lesions there in that line. So I'll maybe just take a quick recording of that, if that's okay.
Well, that's fine. I'll just,
You can
she can go in the
double-check her.
call pen if you want and post-mortem it and then compare it.
If you wanted to.
Well, she's a relative of the first one. So,
Is she?
Aye. They'll
Do
be
you want to
mates.
take a wee scan of that anyway?
They'll be mates,
Ebenezer?
they'll hang about together, that's the thing. Oh, but one big thing with sheep
They
is...
will be together, yeah, they're
Absolutely,
friends.
like they've came from the same farm, so they'll be friends.
So there's a likelihood that it's going to have spread from one to
Yeah, I
this
mean,
one.
she's in great condition, I must say. She's actually really fat. She'll be 20 quid male in the lane, but...
She's got a little lesion on her lung. I'll just pop round to the other side.
Put the question mark on her.
Yeah. I'll get her tag number for the wee video I've taken.
And then I'll put her out with these ones, and then she can go culled just to be safe. Or if you want to go the more done route, you can go the more done route, whatever you like.
Little lesions
worse
on
that
that
side.
side too, yes it does.
So with this one here, there's no fluid. I mean, she's in great condition. No fluid coming out of her nose or anything like that. She's doing a wee bit of breathing. That's because the clamp's pressed on her.
She's
So
squashed a little.
aye, it's not particularly bad breathing. So she's one you would never look at in the field and pull out. So I mean, like, she's in great fettle. So that's one. Would more than be interested in that one?
Yes,
For, yeah.
they're interested in
'Cause I
advanced
think
cases,
the
early
advanced
cases.
ones are easy. There's not
Exactly.
much point. Whereas that one,
Yeah, that's an earlier
you
one
can look
that
at your
wouldn't
video.
see.
Like you could do a presentation to vets and say, "Here's the video of this sheep. Here's the post-mortem of it."
Yeah, and it's quite different because she looks a fit, healthy sheep.
And yeah, and actually, we should actually get a shot of how good she looks.
The way she looks, yeah, we can maybe do that afterwards. But yes, they're interested in advanced cases, early cases, other lung pathologies, so changes to the lung that are caused by something different, abscesses, pneumonias, that kind of thing. And they're also interested in negative sheep as well. If you had one going for cull.
They've made a mistake, and you can say this is what it looked like, and it wasn't OPA.
Well, we want one that we think is negative so that it can just be checked that definitely it is negative, so that we know we're getting things right.
You're starting to pick out, yeah. Are you quite good at this?
I hope so.
Right. Is Phil said you're good at it?
Well, I think if we needed extra training, Phil wouldn't have let us just loose.
Well, he probably wouldn't
go
let you
and
come
do
here
it.
and do it on video if you were rubbish,
Oh,
would he?
true.
No.
We'll soon find out when he watches this back.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just like everything. The more you do of it, the
Oh,
more
absolutely.
experience you
Just to
get.
yeah, absolutely.
It's straightforward enough to pick out the advanced ones, but we want to be getting sensitive at it so that we're able to pick out earlier ones as well.
Yeah, no, I would say that even me watching the screen, like you can start to pick out when it's.
When something's abnormal.
Yeah, well,
you
you
can,
show
the more
me-
you do, yeah, definitely.
You show me those bad ones, it's easy to see what you're talking about, whereas like trying to pick out the wee lumps you're talking about, much harder. But it's always the thing when you're scanning, like it's so much easier when you're holding the probe. Because
You know where
point,
you are.
well, you can point at what you want to see. You know,
Yes.
like it doesn't flicker and jump about. It's,
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
Good girl, off you go.
Saying earlier if it's passed through the milk.
Yes, it can be. Milk and colostrum. Oh dear. So obviously through the respiratory route as well, which is what we've always known, but through the milk and colostrum too, and from mother to lamb. So in farms where people are going to be potentially keeping ewe lambs as replacements, you would, if you were culling out an OPA sheep, you probably would want to get rid of our lambs as well, because the potential is they're infected,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're not going to have symptoms or signs even on scan until they get a little bit older. So they should go as well if you're taking a hard line and trying to get rid of it.
so what about if I was to sell store lambs off of these sheep?
If you were selling stores to
Yeah.
somebody else,
Is that okay?
I mean, all you can do is say that you're scanning, and that means that you're doing
But you
as
know,
much
like
as what you can.
my point for it would be like we sold store lambs on Thursday there, but like they're 34 kilo lambs. Like they're going to be there for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
and then hung up. So like, there's no real issue there, is there?
No, they're not going to be
And they
spreading
spread
disease
or
at
they
that
won't
age.
spread it?
No,
No,
not at that
right,
young
okay,
age.
okay.
Not until they have all
That's
these
the main thing,
lesions.
sorry. So they won't spread to
They won't
anything?
spread.
Right,
No,
okay,
not
that's
unless
good.
they're going to keep them on. But if they're actually just stores and they're just
Yeah,
keeping
they're
them
just
as
stores,
stores,
yeah,
then
yeah.
no, you're fine.
Right,
But
okay.
even if you were selling otherwise, all you can do is say that you're scanning, and it's more. You're
I
doing
just
more than
wouldn't
a
do
lot
it.
of other
Like,
farms.
I just like if I had ewe lambs now, I wouldn't sell them. No, you know, if they'd been off, if I was keeping ewe lambs, thankfully our ewe lambs come from a totally different block.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that's good.
you know, Lizzie's got a bit of 300 acres, and all our ewe lambs come from there now.
But no, they won't be infectious at that young age, so
That's good
fine.
to know.
Well, this is one, look.
Yeah, yeah.
See?
Just a mess.
So her lungs are not particularly
There you
good.
go. She's a different sheep again. Well, she's lean, but she's a different tagged sheep again. She's just so the first two that are definite are both different tag sheep, and then this is a different one again. This is a homebred sheep. She'll be about 5-year-old. So this looks like a positive case as well.
I think so. Let's have another wee look. Let me check on her other side.
You thinking yes?
I'm thinking that something's not quite right with her lungs, but I just want to have a look at this side. Be sure. Can she come forward a little bit more?
Yeah.
Sorry, just on this side.
Is that enough?
She is leaner, isn't she? Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
fine,
she's
thank
lame. To
you.
be fair, that's
Yeah, I would say so for this one as well. Just there. Not as serious as the one we've had before,
yeah,
but something starting just there.
another one. You got the tag number?
Oh no,
you
I
don't
haven't
need
got the
it?
tag number.
Do you need it? You don't
If
need
she's
it.
going-
You've not filmed it. Aye, she's going. Yeah. And tell us about your flock club.
Our flock club. So we've just
Avondale
started
Flock
a
Club.
flock club. Yeah.
Is it called Avondale Flock Club?
Yeah, Avondale's flock club. Flock health club.
Flock Health Club.
Flock health club.
So what's
yeah.
that about?
So our farmers can subscribe to it, and they pay a little subscription per month. They will get quarterly meetings. So far we've done getting lambs to grow, and we were focusing on pre-weaning problems like mastitis and coxsackie and nematodirus. We have done getting it right in the lambing shed, so that was talking about colostrum, joint ill, these types of things. Probably our next one's going to be on tuck fertility and maybe a little bit on synchronising sheep.
Are you going to do fertility testing as part of it?
There's 10%
Do you do like an
discount on
on-farm-
fertility testing.
Oh, is there if they're part of the club?
10% discount on things they can book in advance.
Yep.
So things like your scanning, your
Blood
tuck
testing.
fertilities, blood testing. Yes, there's 10% discount
You
on
say
these
their
different things.
fecal their egg counts
Egg
are
counts are
free.
included, and drench testing as well to prove that their wormers have been working correctly.
Yeah, so they test before and test 2 weeks after,
Yep.
depending on
Yeah,
the drench.
depending on their wormer. That's
Yep.
included. They get an hour of free vet time, so they can use that for what they want. They could use it for OPA scanning, they can use it for their MyDivisna blood testing. We encourage people to use it for a health plan. We're trying to make our flock health plans actually useful for farmers and personalised to each farm, so they can use the time for that.
What about if they're needing you for an hour to pull a calf out?
For what?
For an hour to pull a calf out, can you use it for that?
Nah,
No?
not emergency
what
stuff.
about if their rousies let them down, they need somebody to do the wool for an hour? Can they use you for that?
I don't think so.
Right, okay. Because see, so many you've got to read the terms and conditions.
You've got to read the
It's
terms
like an
and
hour free
conditions,
vet
of
time,
course.
but a lot
there's
of
nothing-
that's don't I know you don't, but like a lot of folk maybe underestimate the importance that side of being a vet. Like
It's so no.
a lot of farmers don't see other people; they just see
No,
you.
you're right. A
and-
lot of the time you're out there, they maybe haven't seen a lot of people in the past few days.
And,
so,
and maybe
yeah.
that's, do you see that as an advantage of you being a female in the industry, that do they speak a bit more freely to you than they would
I
to...
feel like I'm not sure what it's like with the other vets at the practice, but yeah, people are
open.
quite happy to. The longer you've been at a practice, but I think you do start to view your farmers as your friends, and people do become more open with you. And
do
yeah,
you think farmers in general are more likely to open up to a female or not?
potentially. I think it's very variable. There's certainly some farmers that I think would tell me problems that possibly wouldn't with my boss, but then it definitely goes the other way around as well.
Yeah,
it just
okay.
depends. It's a bit
Do you find
about-
much negativity with the fact you are a female, like, and it's, you know, it's not all males you're dealing with, but it'll be majority males, I would
Majority
think.
males, yeah. I don't think so. I think I'm very lucky to work in a practice that has always had very good female vets that have proved that yes, you can do it.
So most of
I
your farmers
think
are used to...
Our farmers are used to
Yeah.
girls and knowing that girls can be very good vets. I think when you turn up to a bad calving or a twisted womb, potentially they think, oh dear, I'd have rather had a big strong boy, but I've worked out ways to do it. It's not all about strength, and if it is about strength, well, there's usually a farmer there that can pull something or lift something for you.
Yeah, that would
But
always...
there's technique to everything.
Can I
It's
let
not
this
just
one go, or-
strength. Yes,
yeah.
she can go.
Yeah, well, that'd always be my argument with it. It's like, you're not really there to do the heavy lifting, you're there for the brains. Like,
I think
just you direct.
if it's
You
just
direct them
strength,
to
if
do
it was just strength that was needed in a bad calving, the farmer would have done it himself already, you know.
Good point, good point.
We're there for other things. And yeah, when I'm doing a cow cesarean and I can't lift a calf up, I've had to learn ways to manage, but there are ways.
But you
I
say
can do
that,
it.
like, I've never calved a cow. Well, I've dairy cows, but that was easy.
Yeah.
Like, can you lift a big heavy bull calf out of a? Could I lift a big heavy bull calf out of a cesarean at that height, lifting it up? Like,
Probably, but
what weight are they?
oh, they're variable. They can be up to 80, 90 kilos some of the time.
There's
They're
no way I'm
huge.
lifting 90 kilos out like at that.
No, not
Like-
up like that. It's difficult, but probably more difficult for me.
I would say, yeah, I would give you that. Oh, I definitely think if it came
But
to a
I'd
fight,
find
I
my
definitely
ways.
think if we were to have a fight, I could take you. Like, I'm going to say
Probably.
that.
Probably.
As long as we keep some rules, like no clawing of the eyes or anything like that. Like, that's why the police have to wear buns.
So they can have their hair pulled.
So their hair doesn't
Was
get
it
pulled
really?
either. Yeah, that's
Isn't
why.
Glasgow a nice place?
Well, you would never need to worry about that. In Newton Mearns, they wear ponytails. In Newton Mearns, they wear
Same.
ponytails. There's no worry about that. But yeah, no, that's why you have to wear a bun, because it's dangerous.
It probably is.
Well,
Oh,
that's
it's done
why
that
I used to always
testes
argue
once and then
with
again.
my gaffer at work when I was in the CID. We had to wear ties, but the women could wear a lovely blouse. Like, so you've been in these sunny summer days and we're bloody shirt and tie, and the lassies can just wear a nice blouse and all that. And I'm like, how ridiculous that we're going out to deal with BAMs with a noose around our neck. Do you know, it's ridiculous that in this day and age there's CID cops.
Hazard of the job.
At most it should be clip-off ones, which was what cops used to wear. But it is ridiculous you go out with a tie on, in my opinion. Also, another prime example why CID dress wear is ridiculous. You wear a suit with suit shoes, obviously. So a prime example, on night shift we got a stolen car. It was a attempt murder actually, with a stolen car. And as we get there, the stolen car that's been used in attempt murder, somebody starts locking it and unlocking it, like as we're standing with it. Obviously it's a crime scene thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, right, this wee bam's about here somewhere. So we were obviously in our suits, so we split up and we go and we're sort of hiding in gardens, just watching across the close to see. And here I see the wee guy come off over a fence and push the button and crouch back down, and he always thinks he's hilarious. Like so anyway, I just like jump out and start tearing towards him before he sees me. Rather than try and creep at him, I just start running full pelt just to try and. He sees me with he's a fair big lead, but I've got my suit, you know, shoes on and all that in my suit.
So only so fast you can go.
He starts running, bolts off, and I'm running after him. I just think this is ridiculous. Like, I should be wearing, you know, practical shoes for policing. To be fair, we got him. Well, the dog got him. I chased him into a garden. It was pitch black. I couldn't see. So I just stood. Well, he ran, turned right. I was gaining on, so he turned off into this garden, and I went into the garden. I couldn't see a bloody thing, so I just stood listening. I'm like, he must be here somewhere. And then the dog come in. See, as soon as the dog come in, went straight for him. He just greeting and shouting and like, stop! I'm here. I give up. I give up. That was good. That's why dogs are so good. But no, I moaned at the gaffer about that one too. I says, why the hell are we wearing dress shoes to go out and deal with ongoing incidents when we should be wearing practical footwear?
Trainers.
Yeah, trainers or
Running.
grippy boots or something like that. You know,
grippy
like dress
boots would be
shoes are
better.
slippy. You can't make a good sharp
No,
turn on the
true.
tarmac on dress shoes.
Oh, I don't know if I can I leave you with an email address for somebody from the project that then if any farmers were listening that were interested in scanning, they could contact.
Yeah, what is
To
it?
get
Say it out
somebody-
loud and then we'll add it to the screen
I
as
need
well.
to check what it is.
All right, okay. Well,
Is
we'll
that
put it on the
okay?
screen for anybody watching,
I could give
and it'll
my
be in the
email
show
address,
notes.
but
This
it might
email
be
address.
better to give the address for
Yeah,
the
but if
person.
anyone in this area, are you the only scanner for this area?
We've got 2 scanners in our practice, myself and Katrina Dykes. She's another farm vet at our practice that's
Yep.
doing the scanning as well. So there's 2 of us in this area. There's vets over at Clyde Vet Group that are doing it. There's ones in Forth Valley, so that kind of covers all around in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we would be happy to do it, and anyone in other areas there is.
But the whole of Scotland is
whole
covered.
of Scotland's covered from
in
down
some way.
in the borders all the way up to the islands, way up north. There's somebody that will come to you, no matter where you are.
And I appreciate that different vets will be different costs, but roughly what is the cost? Like, you know, what's the hourly rate for
We're
doing
doing
this?
it at 80 an hour, which is probably cheaper than the other practices, just because, I mean, I admit that this
Yeah,
is
you
the
want to
first
undercut
time
them and
I'm
get the work?
learning it. No, not at all.
I'm joking.
It's just, when you first start,
She's a
you
call
don't-
you anyway, so I wouldn't even worry.
She's going, you
Yeah.
know that you're slower when you first start, and you don't want people to be paying more because I'm slower, you know?
Yeah, I
So
totally
we're doing it
understand.
at
It's like I said with the
reasonable
pregnancy
price.
scanning, we were, not chilling
But
so much. So,
some of the vets have a lot of experience, can get through a lot of sheep more quickly, so it'll be a little bit more expensive. But
Yeah, but if you've got a real problem, like, it's a thing, you do it for a couple of years, you're going to get to,
Yeah,
you're going to make
yeah.
a big dent on that problem. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, look up that way. Look up the email address. We'll put it in the show notes and put
Yep.
it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, obviously you see, we've got it, so something worth doing, I would say.
definitely something worth doing.
And there we go, just like that. Positive OPA. Or, look on the positive side, I have no OPA now.
Exactly. OPA free.
Oh, that's a good... I see, now, I technically... Oh, could I? No,
Once you get rid of your stores.
the only lot that weren't scanned were the gimmers.
Right, okay.
Like, we didn't scan any gimmers or you hogs because they're too young to scan. So technically, they could still have it
Yep.
coming forward. So we'll need to rescan probably again next year. For the meantime, hopefully we're going to close the flock at some point. But I like Scotch Mules. I think they're an amazing sheep. Like, I really do. I think they're an absolute amazing sheep. And now we've got the potential for a shed space again. I think, I was going towards this slightly less productive. Like, I don't really want a sheep with 3 lambs or 2.2 lambs. I want a sheep with 1.8 lambs. But now we're going to this shed thing. I think we can go back towards, let's keep a few Scotch mules or Cheviot mules or anything with a bit of blue in. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, we'll keep buying off of him, and we'll cull out and we'll scan again next year and see. We'll keep culling hard anything that sits down or looks funny, and we'll scan it again next year. And once I get my first clear year, I'll know I've done the right thing, and we can go for there. But yeah, it doesn't really answer the question about whether it's a good thing for the Blackie, Cheviot, Belted, any breed that's keeping females, whether it's a good thing for them to scan or not.
See what people say.
It's an interesting one. We need to get some thoughts on that.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I don't want to be... I'm doing this to promote Jenna and the work that Phil Scott and all the team are doing to tackle this. Like, I do want to promote it and get more people scanning. But I have to be honest as well and say, God, it's a tricky spot. Like, see, as we go through the podcast and we spoke at the start, if you're keeping females, like...
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. How do you record on the hill? You just can't. If you're lambing in by, you could record. But how do you do it in the hill? You just can't. I don't know, folks. Let us know. Let us know what you think about all that. How could you tackle the problem if you're keeping females? What could be done to solve it? Let us know, because I can't actually figure it out as I'm sitting here talking. Anyway, that's us for this week. Anything else from you, Iona?
No.
Thanks for watching. I've been very open and honest about that one there. Hopefully it doesn't come back on me too hard. And we are now OPA free as per the scan. Well, the sheep that are left, bar the gimmers, which are too young to scan, and the ewe lambs, OPA free. Let's see what happens next. Thanks for watching, folks. I've been Cammy.
Avondale Vets.
And we're both
Fed by farmers.